Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief program. Today, we have a thrilling lineup of stories for you. First up, Chinese battery materials giant Tianqi Lithium is making waves as it explores setting up a lithium plant in Europe to boost electric vehicle battery production. This ambitious move aims to strengthen the supply chain and venture into lithium-ion recycling, with potential investments in mining projects across Austria, Northern Europe, the UK, Portugal, and Spain. The goal is to localize operations and cut down on import tariffs and transport costs for Chinese carmakers. Exciting times ahead in the world of EVs. Next, let's talk about the buzz in the financial markets. Hong Kong stocks surged on Friday, riding the wave of optimism as cooling U.S. inflation raised expectations of an interest rate cut by the U.S. Federal Reserve in September. The Hang Seng Index jumped 2%, with property stocks leading the rally. This positive sentiment is fueled by an 85% probability of a rate cut, according to the CME Group's FedWatch tool. Investors are hopeful that this move will spur sales and boost the market. Lastly, in the aviation sector, Cirrus Aircraft, a US-based Chinese state-owned company, has successfully listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, raising a whopping $178 million. Despite a slight dip in share prices post-IPO, Cirrus remains a dominant player in the general aviation market, holding 32% of the global personal aviation market in 2020. This listing marks a significant milestone for Cirrus and highlights Hong Kong's growing prominence as a hub for aviation investments. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these stories and more. South China Morning Post. Tianqi Lithium, a leading global producer of lithium-ion battery materials, is exploring partnerships in Europe to co-invest in battery materials and production facilities, aiming to serve the electric vehicle (EV) market and meet sustainability requirements. CEO Frank Ha Chunxing emphasized the need to localize operations to avoid hefty tariffs and reduce logistics costs, especially as the EU has imposed new tariffs on Chinese EV exports. Tianqi is also eyeing lithium-ion recycling opportunities and potential lithium mining projects in countries like Austria, the UK, and Spain. The company plans to establish a research center outside mainland China, with Hong Kong being a potential location if the government provides incentives. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong stocks surged on Friday, driven by expectations of a U.S. Federal Reserve interest rate cut in September, following a cooling in U.S. inflation. The Hang Seng Index rose 2%, with property stocks like Henderson Land Development and New World Development seeing significant gains. The rate cut is anticipated to boost sales in the property market, as the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to the U.S. dollar, leading to synchronized interest rate changes with the U.S. Despite the positive movement in Hong Kong, other major Asian markets experienced declines, with Japan's Nikkei 225 and South Korea's Kospi both retreating. Nikkei Asia. Cirrus Aircraft, a US-based but Chinese state-owned manufacturer of small airplanes, debuted on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange with shares opening at 27 Hong Kong dollars and 50 cents, slightly above the lower end of the IPO range. Acquired by China Aviation Industry General Aircraft in 2011, Cirrus has navigated stringent U.S. national security requirements. The IPO raised 1.39 billion Hong Kong dollars, with funds earmarked for enhancing product portfolio and production capacity. Cirrus holds a significant share of the global personal aviation market, offering the SR-2X series and Vision jet aircraft. Despite sanctions on its parent company AVIC, Cirrus' financial performance remains robust, with annual revenue reaching $1.06 billion last year. South China Morning Post. For 6 generations, the Swiss jewelry house Bogossian has been crafting exquisite pieces, drawing inspiration from the rich traditions of the Silk Road. Regine Nan, Bogosian's managing director for Asia, has been captivated by the brand's high jewelry, particularly the legendary Crimson Flame ring, set with a pigeon's blood Burmese ruby. This gem, renowned for its vivid red hue, was sold for a staggering $18 million at Christie's Hong Kong in 2015. Bogosian's creative process is deeply rooted in the gemstones themselves, with CEO Albert Bogosian and creative director Edmund Chin leading the charge. Their latest collection, Palace Voyages, features masterpieces like the bamboo blossom cuff, which combines Eastern artistic motifs with Western lapidary innovation. Nan emphasizes that Bogosian's approach to jewelry is akin to architecture, constantly pushing the boundaries of high jewelry and art. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong is looking beyond Cathay Pacific Airways to fill the capacity opened up by the airport's third runway, as the flag carrier has delayed its full recovery to the first quarter of next year. Secretary for Transport and Logistics Lam Si-hung has urged Cathay to accelerate its recovery, while the airport authority plans to invite other airlines to increase services to Hong Kong. The third runway, set to boost the airport's capacity by 50%, is part of Hong Kong's strategy to enhance its status as an international aviation hub. Financial Secretary Paul Chan-Imopa has called on airlines to expand their networks in line with economic development needs. Despite Cathay's setbacks, including significant flight cancellations and a need for more pilots, the airline remains committed to enhancing its service and contributing to Hong Kong's aviation ambitions. South China Morning Post. In recent years, the world has seen a shift away from the rapid globalization of the late 20th and early 21st centuries towards greater geopolitical fragmentation. This trend has been exacerbated by rising nationalism, trade disputes, and the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted global supply chains and travel. The recent elections in the United Kingdom, United States, and France highlight this fragmentation, with significant political shifts and uncertainties. In the UK, the Labour Party's victory was more a rejection of the Conservative Party than a strong endorsement of Labour. In the US, the upcoming presidential election hinges on swing states, with voters divided on key issues such as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and immigration. France's legislative elections resulted in a hung parliament, reflecting the growing influence of far-right and leftist parties. For Hong Kong, these geopolitical shifts present challenges, particularly in maintaining strong international business ties and navigating the evolving political landscape. South China Morning Post. The Hong Kong Chartered Governance Institute, HKCGI, is set to elevate sustainability and corporate governance standards with the launch of a new academy on July 31. This initiative aims to bolster sustainability advocacy, education, and research, focusing on professionals who have completed the Institute's ESG reporting certification course. With around 1,400 accredited certificate holders eligible to join the Academy, HKCGI CEO Ellie Peng emphasized the Academy's role in bridging the talent gap in ESG reporting. David Simmons, HKCGI President, highlighted the necessity for continuous skill updates in the ever-evolving field of ESG. The Hong Kong government has allocated 200 million Hong Kong dollars to support market practitioners and students in obtaining professional qualifications in sustainable finance. The HKCGI course, priced at 2,800 Hong Kong dollars for members and 3,500 Hong Kong dollars for non-members, includes 7 live webinars and offers subsidies covering up to 80% of the fees. The course will be updated later this year to incorporate new climate requirements from the Hong Kong exchanges and clearing. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong-listed companies that disclose sustainability-related financial information according to global standards are likely to see better valuations, as per the Asia Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association, ASIFMA. The International Sustainability Standards Board, ISSB, has set global baseline reporting standards, which jurisdictions worldwide are adopting to enhance the consistency and usefulness of sustainability disclosures. Yvette Kwan, executive advisor to ISSB, stressed the importance of adopting these standards to maintain Hong Kong's appeal as a leading sustainable finance hub. The HKEX has already mandated climate-related disclosures, with new requirements based on ISSB standards to take effect in 2025. ISSB warns that without adopting these standards, Hong Kong might lose out on sustainable investments. The KEX's new climate requirements are a preparatory step for the proposed local sustainability reporting standards, which will align with ISSB and be developed by the Hong Kong Institute of Certified Public Accountants. The HKEX is considering transitioning to these standards, potentially replacing the current ESG framework with mandatory sustainability reports for listed issuers. South China Morning Post. Uber and other ride-hailing services in Hong Kong face stringent regulatory requirements, with Transport Secretary Lam Sai-hung warning that non-compliance will result in these platforms being out of the game. The government is exploring whether to issue new types of licenses for ride-hailing services or expand the quota of existing hire car permits. Uber has operated unregulated for a decade, and the recent proposal aims to address the issue of private car drivers offering passenger services without permits. With only 1,115 hire car permits issued by 2021 and Uber having over 216,000 registered drivers, the government plans to study commuter needs to finalize the regulatory mechanism. The study, expected to take 12 months, will determine vehicle types, numbers, and licensing requirements for platforms and drivers. Lam also mentioned the imminent issuance of permits for new premium taxi fleets, which will feature online booking, e-payment options, and vehicle cameras, aiming to enhance service quality and convenience. South China Morning Post. The Hong Kong China Swimming Association, HKCSA, has come under fire for its stringent eligibility rules that barred a talented 9-year-old swimmer from competing in a local event because he was not part of the right club. Alex Fong Lixun, a former Olympic swimmer, criticized the rules as unbelievable and ridiculous. Lawmaker Kenneth Fok Kai Kong urged the HKCSA to reconsider its athlete selection mechanism, emphasizing that talent should not be buried. HKCSA President Ronnie Wong Manchiu defended the club status criterion but acknowledged the need for flexibility, suggesting the boy could join an eligible club temporarily. Fong, who runs his own swim academy, lamented the impact of such rules on lower-tier clubs and the sport's development. South China Morning Post. Narelle Pamuk, founder of the Sai Kung Stray Friends Foundation, SKSFF, in Hong Kong, is facing a financial crisis as her dog shelter struggles to pay back rent and cover rising costs. Pamuk, who has been feeding and caring for stray dogs near the mainland China border, now needs urgent donor support to avoid eviction and continue her work. The shelter, home to over 200 dogs, requires 300,000 Hong Kong dollars monthly for operations, excluding high veterinary bills. Pamuk signed a new 6-year lease under financial duress to secure the dog's future. Despite the challenges, she remains committed to her mission and appeals for public donations to sustain the shelter. Yahoo US. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg criticized China for its increasing alignment with Russia and its oppressive domestic policies. During a press conference at the NATO summit, Stoltenberg highlighted China's military exercises with Belarus near NATO ally Poland as a sign of growing authoritarian cooperation. He condemned China's actions in Hong Kong, the South China Sea, and its threats towards Taiwan. The Polish Foreign Ministry expressed concern over China's deepening military ties with Russia and Belarus, questioning China's neutrality in the context of the Ukraine conflict. Stoltenberg emphasized the need to recognize the threats posed by these authoritarian regimes. Telegraph. Declan Rice confesses that the memory of losing the European Championship final to Italy still haunts him, but he believes England's revamped system can help them overcome that painful past. Gareth Southgate's team has evolved since their penalty shootout defeat 3 years ago, with 8 players from that squad now seasoned with experience. England has switched to a 3-at-the-back formation with wingbacks, which has proven effective, particularly in their semi-final triumph over the Netherlands. Rice highlights the improved ball retention and solid defensive setup as key changes. He also mentions the camaraderie and strength within the team, which he believes will be crucial in their upcoming final against Spain. Rice even promises to drink his first-ever beer if England clinches the title, underscoring his determination to rewrite history and bring joy to the nation. South China Morning Post. BlackRock has introduced a new equity fund in Hong Kong as investors begin to shift their portfolios towards riskier assets in anticipation of interest rate cuts. The asset management giant aims to leverage the growing appetite for stocks, moving away from the high-yielding, income-focused products that have dominated during periods of high interest rates. Mandy Louie, head of Greater China Wealth at BlackRock, notes that while investors were previously content with high-income products, they are now seeking growth opportunities. The new Global Unconstrained Equity Fund, also launched in Singapore, is designed to be flexible, not restricted by benchmarks, sectors, or countries. The fund managers will focus on companies with strong earnings potential and sustainable returns, with current investments in notable firms like Microsoft and Alphabet Incorporated. This fund is particularly suited for those looking for long-term investments without the need to time the market, offering a strategic shift for investors as they prepare for changing economic conditions. South China Morning Post. Ambrose Akinmusire, the acclaimed jazz trumpeter and composer, is set to perform in Hong Kong, bringing his unique sound that spans from solo horn pieces to hip-hop collaborations. Akinmusire's latest release, Owl Song, is a serene, late-night meditation featuring Bill Frisell's guitar and Herlin Riley's drums, showcasing his subtle sonic mastery. His previous work, Beauty Is Enough, is a bold, unaccompanied horn recording, demonstrating his willingness to explore raw, emotive soundscapes. Akinmusire's diverse discography includes the experimental Origami Harvest, which blends classical strings with rap, and his celebrated live album A Rift in Decorum, Live at the Village Vanguard. Known for his deep compositional skills and soulful improvisation, Akinmusire has garnered acclaim since winning major jazz competitions in 2007 and releasing influential albums on Blue Note Records. His collaboration with Kendrick Lamar on To Pimp a Butterfly introduced his music to a broader audience. Akinmusire's upcoming performance at the Shih Tzu Center Grand Theater promises to be a highlight for jazz enthusiasts. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Waking up to wonders, checking nature blunders. Got our rockets flying while the oceans are sighing. Lasers in the sky now, holograms we say wow. Quantum leaps and robot science news that